And it's Caleb Porter joining us in person.
In the flesh.
What's going on?
Same old.
Did you see any of this out here today?
I didn't get to. I'd like to. It'd be interesting to watch, how they run things.
There's just not much going on there right now.
No pads, no tackling.
Not yet. I think next week is when you want to see, maybe get a glimpse at that.
Hitting each
maybe.
other.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to see Zoe out there. Some guys.
Put me a goal line. I can play fullback right now. What would you take out of this as a coach? Because we've seen this where, like, Brad Stevens would come down and sit for a whole day, or
Joe Mazzulla come down.
Alex Cora. They've all done it, and just more. I think it's more for like the meetings to see how Bill would structure it and handle it, and what he would say, because it's kind of a proven art that he's perfected. But what would you take the most out of coach? What would you be looking? Would you look at the athletic ability of the players, or just the way they would structure practice?
My coach mindset would kick in, and I'd watch how they're running it. How the organization is, how they, go about a training session in terms of building it up, and how do they focus on the attack and the defending. I know obviously in football there's more, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. So it's a little different sport, but I think you can glean something every time you watch a good coach work. And, for me, a good training session, doesn't matter what sport, it's sharp, it's organized, it flows, it's quick. There's obviously a presence in there with the coach. It's a lot of leadership.
Your first year with the team, what's the first thing you're trying to kind of establish during the preseason when you're with the group for the first time?
Biggest thing is buy-in, right? So it's getting the players bought into how you want to do things, your culture, how you operate, how you lead, your game model in terms of how you play in the attack, your philosophy, how you defend. So it's really important that they're bought in, because you could have all the best ideas in the world, but you have to get them bought in, and if they're not bought in, then they don't do it, right? So it's a lot. It's a lot at first. It has been every club I've been in. It's, you got to get guys on board. You got to find out who can't do it and get new guys. Yeah. So there's some of that as well. But I love preseason. For me, preseason is the best because it's just pure coaching every single day, and less about results and more about, building it up, getting the guys to do what you want them to do, and that's the reward in coaching.
You hear this voice in the background. Mike Sarge-Riley is doing the PA announcing. He does your games, the in-game stadium stuff. Does he drive you nuts at all? And he points during the game, you're like, shut up?
I don't think I've ever heard him.
Okay.
I've never heard him. Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, perfect answer. He doesn't stop talking. He doesn't. He's out there. You see him on the 50. He's on the 50-yard line, right in the middle, talking to nobody.
I don't know why he's still talking.
He's on the mic, barking out orders to God knows who. And nobody's listening.
I've never heard him.
Okay.
It's like I don't notice anything during the game other than the game.
That's good.
So,
when we talk about coaching and practices and everything that goes into running a team, how much work is it as a head coach managing not just players and everything you've got to do to prepare for a game, but managing all the guys that are on your staff? Because we watch a practice in any sport, and we see all these assistants, and the guys are kind of unsung heroes that are putting in all kinds of work to help a team, but don't get talked about too much. It's always the head coach who gets talked about. But as the head coach, you've got to sort of manage all those people under you. How much work is that in your day-to-day?
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I mean, and actually, the better head coaches delegate, and hire the best staff. And I think when you're a young head coach, you don't do that as well as you should, and you make the wrong decisions actually on who you should have around you. So when I first became a head coach, must have been like 18 years ago, I probably got my staffs wrong, because you tend to hire guys that you like, your buddies, and you don't hire guys that actually will challenge you and push you and make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you learn. You just want the best guys possible, because then obviously they help you win, and it's easier for you. But it's a lot of work to get it streamlined, where your assistants are all on the same page. They have ownership, but also you're involved, in the final, signing off on everything. That's really important as well. Everybody can't just be operating rogue. But it's a lot of coordination, to answer your question, and that's why you have to have, meetings and you have to have processes. I'm not a huge formal process guy, but I also think you do have to have things in place because it slips through the cracks.
So you have Leagues Cup coming up. How different is that going to be for you? It's your first time, I think, in it. Not first time for the Revs, but how much does that change things for you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's kind of tricky timing because all the injuries we have, and obviously we have 11 games to go once we start back up, and we're going to make a push for the playoffs. We're going to be healthy for the first time in these 11 games, but then we have this competition that we're trying to manage, and in a lot of ways we got chewed up from the first competition to start the year. The CONCACAF Champions Cup really put us in a bad spot as far as injuries. So the fans always want you to win every competition. I never want to lose a game. I always want to win everything. There's a trophy attached to it. Right. So we're gonna do everything we can to win the games, but also I think it's very tricky for us because normally you could maybe rotate some guys in
and manage your year. We're
so thin, we don't have many options to rotate, and so we're going to put out the best lineup we can, and then we have a break. So it's important to stay fit before the break, and then we should have everybody healthy in the last 11 games and make a push. If we get in, we'll have a puncher's chance because we'll peak at the right time, and but we will improve at the end of the year and set up next year at a minimum.
Okay. With the group stage games both here, is that an expectation that you'll sort of get through those on the right side of those?
It helps. You're at home. We're playing a Liga MX team, Mazatlan. It's not one of the better Liga MX teams, but any team in Liga MX is good, and they have talent, and their budgets are bigger than ours, frankly. So, they'll have some really talented guys. You might have seen the All-Star game last night. Liga MX played against our MLS All-Stars, and they beat our All-Stars 4-1. So it shows their quality, and we have some world-class players playing in MLS, albeit some of them at the twilight. But some guys in their prime, too. But it's a really good league. There's a lot of money being spent there and some really quality players. So this Mazatlan team will not be easy. In fact, when you look at records, MLS versus Liga MX, their record's a lot better when we play each other, typically.
All right.
Caleb, great to see you.
Thanks for making the journey over.
Yeah, you guys too. It's good to finally see Zoe in the flesh.
We're gonna party next time.
Did you ever take those glasses off?
Yeah, you can have them if you want.
I like it.
Lens action. Do these make you smarter? These little ones?
I wish.
I need the readers too, man. It's just like, man.
Man, it was one of those days I woke up in the morning. I'm like,
isn't it the worst when you look at your phone? Like, I don't have my readers anywhere handy. I can't see anything.
Finally had to get them, So anyways, but
what are you looking at?
You're better looking in person.
Thanks,
man. Oh, don't get that a lot. Don't flatter him. Thanks, everybody. Please don't do that. You don't need any more of that going to his head.
Yeah. You need the scratches on the glasses, though. You need to get you.
They fell off. I mean,
new lenses.
This is unbelievable. I need you know what I need, Jim?
Off right now.
I need a sunglass. I need a sunglass still. Yeah. So we can get working on that, Celestine.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, Caleb,
thanks.
Today's takeaways coming up next.